Hello everyone. I would like to discuss about customer touchpoints and the role of IP in the strategy for defining and securing those customer touchpoints. So let's start from the definition. So what are those customer touchpoints? So those are the points in which the customer interacts with the product which is offered by the company. This is part of the so-called customer journey, which is a sort of full experience that is defined between the customer and the product, and ultimate between the customer and the company itself. There is no need to say that those customer touch points are key essential elements in those journeys, because are the points of interaction. So having a high quality of interactions means at the end of the day having a high loyalty and a high satisfaction of the client to our company. How can IP play a game in these touch points? IP can be helpful because it can protect and secure the differentiation and exclusivities of those customer touch points, which ultimately will lead to a exclusive type of loyalty and satisfaction of the customer. So the customer touch points, usually how they are created. So the IP team has to be normally in touch with all the other departments at the definition and creation of these customer touch points. So first of all, there is the need to map from business marketing departments the customer journey stages, which are the main blocks of the whole customer journey. Can be, for example, the awareness stage, consideration phase, acquisitions phase, service phase, and loyalty phase. And for each of those phases or stages, it is possible to define steps. So more detailed or specific topics in which those stages can be divided. And those are more specific to each product or service of the company for which we are making these customer journey map. Once the steps are defined, we need to create and assign specific points for each step in which the client is experiencing those steps. And those are exactly the customer touch points. So we are now in the point of defining those customer touch points from the beginning, so from a pre-purchase point of view to the end, post-purchase point of view. Once the customer touch points are defined, we need now to assign and to find the departments. It means the stakeholders which interact with those customer touch points. It's important to emphasize that those departments are not only the buyers or the sellers, but can be, especially in B2B business, a lot of different stakeholders, from the designer team to the packaging team to the buyer team, and so on and so forth. Now, once we have a map between the stakeholders and the customer touch points, which is nice, can be also nicely illustrated in figures like the one on the left, which is called the customer journey map, we need to go into the next step. So we need to see what are our communication, our product or service elements that we use to communicate. That can be, for example, a brochure, or if we have a web interface, how the graphics looks like, how the interaction on this interface looks like. If you are selling a physical product, we need to see how the casing of this product looks like, how the packaging looks like. And for each of those elements, we need to assign a communication need. So which is the ultimate need that we need to emphasize and we need to stress for each of those elements? For example, for a brochure, we need to be there is to be a strong brand in the brochure, and it has to be optically, visually appealing. And so once we create this matrix, we also need to assign the type of communication needs and the type of sensorial elements that can be not only tactile or branding or optical, but that can be also other way of defining those needs. For example, olfactory or gustative needs, and so on, depending on the product. Finally, once all of these customer journey map and matrix of communication elements are defined, it is then possible to go step by step for each of those points, with also and to check really which is the need of securing some IP rights, which kind of exclusivities we can secure and we can also work on at the beginning, and where we should invest resource on searching these kind of exclusivities. My concluding remark on the theoretical concept of customer touchpoints is that this is a very good example that shows how the IP department plays an active role in defining a customer journey experience, and how the IP department should be included actively in the beginning of all the discussion and definition of the customer journey and the customer touchpoints, in order that it is possible to proactively craft proper IP strategies that not only secure sustainable competitive advantages, but they are also important in case we want to achieve also dynamic capabilities, in case we want to cover multiple scenarios of those customer touchpoints. And you see that all of this can only be properly done and implemented if the IP department plays an active role in all this story. Now I would like to show a specific example of those customer touchpoints, which I found particularly relevant. And I took as example the BMW group, the big automotive German group. And in particular, I found that it is possible to divide the different stages of the customer journey into the awareness phase, in which we have the presence of auto shows and events, the consideration stage, in which the customer looks at the virtual showrooms that are online to understand the different cars and start this consideration about the purchasing. So all of this is pre-purchase. Then there is the decision stage, which is the purchasing aspect. So we in this phase is including the purchase of the car itself, trade-ins, but also upgrades. Then there is the operation stage, the nice pleasure of driving a BMW car on the road. Then there is the post-purchasing stage, so the service stage. For example, I found the BMW referral program and the BMW maintenance program. And at the end of the journey, we don't need to miss the loyalty stage, very important, in which there is a customer satisfaction surveys, which is released and which has the objective of increasing and consolidating the loyalty of the customer to the brand, to the group. In particular, I found that the BMW Group and Adobe has made a partnership in order to take advantage and benefit from the Adobe Experience Cloud portfolio of virtual. It's a virtual toolkit that enables BMW to create very exclusive set of customer experiences in a sort of digitalization of the customer experience. So for example, and this covers this Adobe Experience Cloud has been implemented in a variety of stages. So for example, in the awareness phase, this tool is used to create very evocative means, also for example, hearing an 8 series passing cross by, or in the consideration phase, really creating web interfaces which are appealing, which are very nice, which does not show, they are not bulky, and then and so on and so forth. There are also in the decision phase elements of Adobe Experience Cloud, and also in the loyalty phase as well. For example, I found that there is an application regarding an artificial intelligence method or algorithm, and this is very interesting because it is applied to online questionnaires and surveys which are shared to the clients. And the surveys, they don't only track the client answers and feed them back to the BMW group, but they also know the name of the customer who's filling those services, and with sort of artificial intelligence, they also look online to their public informations, and they create a sort of user profile, and they also feedback this back to BMW in order to create a very complete answer that extends far beyond just the simple answers that the client has provided. Another example is at the decision phase, the possibility of changing easily the colors. What I found is that one of the main issues on buying a car is to choose the color, because then the color can't be easily changed of the car. And BMW, we see here how it plays actively in those customer touch points, because they file this application to secure a concept technology that allows to dynamically and actively electronically change the color and the shades of the color in the car. And we see that it's clearly applied within the framework of customer touch points and customer journey, because they want to make the choosing of the color easier, simpler, more appealing, to ultimately increase the satisfaction of the customer. Another example is the is so-called the ambient air package that BMW is offering on the 7 Series, which is a tool, which is a set of small packages, and each of them include a specific smell. And then you can actually load this cartridge in your BMW 7 Series and customize the smell and the scents inside your car. And it is also possible to mix them and to really create your specific scents in the car. And I found this a very good example, because it shows that communication way of communicating needs is not only visual or tactile. Even with a car, it can include olfactory items. And here we see a nice example on how BMW have thought about it and has secure exclusivities around this idea. Finally, the last example is about a system or method for advertising online vehicles from private sellers. And in particular, they secure a process in which if a private seller wants to sell a BMW car, they cannot just, by using this electronic digital system, upload the information of the car, and also the price and all these financial informations needed to sell the car for a potential. And so this can be accessible to potential buyers, because this can be uploaded also on web ads. And this can also be shared in a network and be accessible everywhere. And I also found that this example is very relevant in the customer journey as example for defining the customer journey experience, because you can see how the customer and the stakeholders that BMW has identified do not only comprise direct buyers to the BMW group, but they can also include the private buyers, maybe of second-hand cars, or private buyers, private sellers that are not directly associated to the BMW group. And they really thought that by improving the customer touch points also for those stakeholders, at the end of the day, no matter if the car is bought by a private seller or by the BMW directly, BMW with this idea will increase the customer satisfaction, will increase the customer loyalty, and at the end of the day, the brand and the loyalty will be very high. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day.